Hello, welcome to our second pub football special. This is Pub Football with Miles and Jimmy. Show we talk about the football and drink a few beers whilst we do. Now, we said this special was going to be on Bournemouth, but then they went and won because it was going to be what's gone wrong at Bournemouth.
Yeah, it would have been a shocker, wouldn't it?
They won, so we haven't done that. So we're going to do the FA Cup. Thank you to Ned Longdon, who in the comments has asked for an FA Cup special. Now, we've just had FA Cup weekend. There's been one sort of upset, Shrewsbury coming from 2-0 down up in Shrewsbury, up at the New Meadow, to draw with Liverpool. It's huge, great game for Shrewsbury. But the things we want to do on this show are talk about whether we think that the replay should be scrapped and whether we think the magic of the FA Cup is still alive. So, Jimmy, let's start with replays.
Yes.
Because there's been a lot of debate about whether FA Cup replays should be scrapped or whether they should carry on because it's the history of the FA Cup, there's been replays. But, you know, if you're going on history, there should be a replay of the final if it goes to a draw, because that's what used to happen.
Yeah.
The final was replayed. Tottenham, I think, won the final. The Ricky Villa final was when they'd drawn with Manchester City in the first game, and then it went to a replay. When it comes to do you think do you think FA Cup replay should stay?
100% yes.
Why?
Because I think the problem I have with it at the moment is it's such a Premier League orientated thing to go, they need to be scrapped, you've got too many games, way too much football. But it's more than that. The FA Cup is more than 20 teams in the Premier League who do really well. There's our team down the road who start the qualifiers, who, as they progress through the rounds, will get more money for it. And you think if you get the replay, like Shrewsbury this weekend, they're going to get so much money from that.
Well, they get money from the replay, and it's at Anfield though, because they get money from they get money from the home legs. They get people through the gates.
Yeah.
But there is an argument, because I think it's Oxford United's boss who
Carl Robinson came out and said he wanted it scrapped as well.
Because their legs were completely gone. They drew 0-0 at St James's Park against Newcastle. Great result for Oxford United, by the way. Incredible result. But if their boss is saying it, maybe we do need to look at the lower level and think, should they go? But every non-league fan I've talked to has said, no, absolutely not, we want the replays because we get the windfall.
Yeah.
But let's change it slightly. If it goes straight to penalties in the first game, then you win. Because a lot of the time, Shrewsbury, I think, would have beaten Liverpool in penalties yesterday. Because the reason being, because they had all the momentum from that second half, I think they might have beaten Liverpool on penalties. If they beat Liverpool on penalties, and then they're in the draw for the next round, and then they get a home tie, surely that's even more money.
But when you think, as a player on that pitch at that point, I'll take it to 100%. Let's go to Anfield, let's experience it for probably one of the only times in my career.
Yeah.
That's what the FA Cup's all about.
Yeah, so you're very pro replays.
100%. I think it's just such an institutionalised thing, isn't it, the FA Cup and what it represents, and I think it's great. I don't see the point of changing it. I would personally think about scrapping the League Cup, because I think it's a waste of time.
No, I definitely wouldn't scrap the League Cup. I like the League Cup.
Or even have one semi-final game instead of two. We don't need two games.
Yeah, you don't need two games. No.
But
when we're looking at the FA Cup and the lower league teams, and it's a lot of the Premier League managers moaning about fixture congestion, about doing too many games, they're talking to lower league teams who, yes, they don't get as far in the League Cup and might not get as far in the FA Cup, but they also have the Checkatrade Trophy, or whatever it's called now, the St Johnstone Paints Trophy, or whatever incarnation it has. Plus, they have 46-game seasons, not 38-game seasons. So they have midweek games most weeks without the squad depth that Premier League teams have. So for Premier League managers to be moaning about this is ridiculous.
Well, I think what's annoyed a lot of people, especially last night, was Klopp's kind of insistent he's going to play the kids in the next one. They're all going to go away for 2 weeks because they deserve it. No,
Klopp should not be missing that game.
No, agreed. And he's going to, supposedly. And if he does, I think that's a massive, massive pitch.
He should be fined by the FA.
100%. He's got to be at that game. I don't care if you're on a break. Just come back.
Yeah. You're the manager of the club. You should be managing that team that plays. It's a first team fixture. And you didn't get it done. That's the problem. The problem isn't that there's an FA Cup replay. The problem is that your team let a 2-goal lead slip. And to be honest, Shrewsbury had the better chances throughout that game anyway.
When you look at other teams who, I know Newcastle are terrible, but they'll now look at it and go, we've got another game as well. You didn't win the game. Go and win the game. Don't play a rubbish team. Play a strong team and go through. Then you get 2 weeks off and you can prepare for the Premier League games that come up.
Well, this moves quite nicely into whether we think the magic of the FA Cup is dead, because for Premier League sides, they could say yes, because they don't like the replays, they think it's an extra game, the money when it comes to the Premier League is more important. But then looking down the leagues, you'd say the magic of the FA Cup definitely isn't dead. You saw a pitch invasion. Again, we're talking about the game at Liverpool, but at the New Meadow yesterday, there was a pitch invasion for a 2-2 draw to go to an FA Cup replay in the 4th round. It's incredible.
Yeah, of course it is. And I've got to be honest, I don't think the Magic's gone at all. I think, I thought it was a terrible round.
Yeah.
Apart from that game, it was a really poor round.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll come on to the games that have just been kind of drawn out. But you look at it, and I don't think it's gone at all. I really like the buzz of the FA Cup when you get to this point. You go, we can go to Wembley, we might win something. And as a Spurs fan and Arsenal fan, that would be a great thing to happen this season.
That'd be absolutely huge. But then for the lower league teams, let's talk about Tranmere, who went out 6-0 to Man United yesterday at home. But they just had 2 Premier League teams play on that pitch at Prenton Park, that awful pitch at Prenton Park, twice in 4 days.
Yeah.
That's incredible for Tranmere fans. They don't get Premier League sides coming through their door, albeit Watford, sorry Watford fans, won't have been as heralded as Manchester United with the history of United. But that's even if it's not the first team players, these are still the top level professional footballers.
And there's always something about that 3rd round, the first sort of weekend in January, where you know that there will be an upset. No matter what, there's likely to be something, and you go, that's what the FA Cup brings. That's what it's all about.
Where the magic's gone for me is the final, because it's now an evening game before the end of the season.
Yeah,
I don't like any of that.
3
o'clock on a Saturday, the week after the season had finished. That was where the FA Cup final should have been. I remember when I was a kid, you would be watching the first half, then at half time you'd run out in the garden and kick a ball around for 15 minutes with your mates, with your dad, whoever was there. And then whoever was inside guarding the telly would call you in. Second half starting, and you'd run in and you sit back in front of the telly. That was it, and it was always sunny.
Yeah, I remember going to the final in '98, Arsenal Newcastle, and as you say, the buzz all day of an FA Cup final, 3 o'clock. Get yourself up there, game's great. It's just brilliant, and that's completely gone now due to television, to be perfectly honest, and the scheduling, and it's a massive pain because I also think the 3rd round gets slightly put to one side because of all the Christmas games, which is a bit frustrating. And obviously this round as well, if you've got a replay, you've now kind of gone into the winter break that was meant to be happening, which I still don't think should be really happening.
Okay, well let's switch the Magic side into league performance, because most teams in the football pyramid now would prioritise league performance over the FA Cup. I'm not talking teams in the South Spartan whatever it is.
Agree.
But when you get into the football leagues like Tranmere Rovers, yes, it's great that they were in the money, in the pot, in that 4th round of the FA Cup, but they're struggling down the bottom of League One.
Yeah.
And they need to stay in that division. Likewise, West Ham United have gone out yesterday or on Saturday to West Brom. Dire, awful performance from West Ham United, and the fans aren't happy. The players aren't happy. Mark Noble gave a scathing interview afterwards, saying he should not have had to have come on at half time. It's not good enough from the team. But when they look at the bigger picture, West Ham are struggling at the bottom of the Premier League. They're level on points with Watford in the relegation zone. They need to stay in the Premier League over winning the FA Cup. I know every fan wants to see their team lift a trophy at the end of the season, but look at Wigan, they won the FA Cup, they got relegated, and since they've been relegated to League One, and they're nothing like the club they were.
Oh, I completely get that. I think, unfortunately, money at the Premier League and even the Championship now, it talks. And obviously, if you're in a run for the top 6 in the Championship, you're in a run for, or just staying in the league in the Premier League, it's more important, isn't it, unfortunately? It is a pain because there is a point, I think, if you get to sort of the 5th or 6th round, you start to take it seriously because you can win it. But up until that point, you probably would go half-assed, really, wouldn't you? And just go, do you know what? We'll see how we go. If we get through 3 rounds, we might start taking it seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is a pain because it shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't, but that's the way it is. In saying that, I'm a Tottenham Hotspur fan. It's not been great in the league this season. Winning the FA Cup would be massive. Massive. I would love it. I would potentially be fine with dropping out of the top 4 to win a trophy. For a Tottenham fan, we haven't won the FA Cup since '91. We haven't won a trophy all since 2008. It'd be huge.
Yeah, you're right. And it was the same with Wenger's reign, sort of towards the end of it. Winning the FA Cups were just bits and pieces to make you go, yeah, that's good. That's
decent season.
Exactly. And as you say, Arsenal are in the same boat. They're on in 10 minutes, and I would be fuming if we went out because I think we could win it.
Yeah.
And that's how we should look. But
let's talk about the next round. We've got the fixtures here. The draw's just been made just before we came on. Like I said, we don't know the result of Arsenal-Bournemouth, so they're both in together because as we're filming, it's about 10 minutes from kickoff.
But Bournemouth probably already 2-0 up.
Well, 5 minutes before kickoff. They're getting a head start. Is it like when you used to play those shooter games, you had a handicap at the start?
Great, yeah.
So the 5th round draw, Sheffield Wednesday hosting Manchester City. That's a great game.
For me, Man City always seems to get an easy draw every single year.
I don't know. That's such a historic game at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday.
I agree, but they have Fulham in the last round. There's someone rubbish before that.
Yeah, but Sheffield, it's never. You say they could get an easy draw, and to be fair, they did in the League Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
And they seem to in the Champions League as well. Reading or Cardiff against Sheffield United. Reading-Cardiff game was a bit boring, and there was some pretty bad scenes as well.
If I was Sheffield United, I'd be going for it now.
They should.
That one. They into the quarterfinals.
They could get Europe, and they could do very well in this FA Cup. I remember when they got to was it the semi-final against Arsenal?
Yes,
where David Seaman made that incredible save. Was that the final or semis?
That was semi. Pesky Salido, I think, headed off the line.
Incredible. Chelsea hosting Shrewsbury or Liverpool. That is the tie. Shrewsbury can do a job at Anfield. That's incredible. That's what things of dreams make. And this is what I mean, the magic of the FA Cup. Look, I was smiling about the prospect of Shrewsbury getting to travel to Stamford Bridge. West Brom hosting Newcastle or Oxford. Again, for Oxford,
I think
that's
that'll
a
be
great
Oxford
tie.
as well. And I think Oxford might go through. I really like Oxford.
Well,
give it a go.
They look good against Newcastle. Newcastle had chances, but that front three still aren't firing. Leicester against Coventry or Birmingham. And this Coventry-Birmingham situation is very weird because Coventry are ground sharing at St Andrews and Birmingham.
The same stadium.
It's a replay at the same stadium, which is the Birmingham fans get the home end back, so they're swapping over, which is phenomenal. Which is again, you do not see this in a league game because Birmingham wouldn't ground share with a team in their own league.
Yeah.
They've given it to Coventry, who were down in League One for the season. This is just wild. It's incredible. The landlords versus the tenants. Northampton or Derby against Man United, as the draw was made on BBC One.
Yeah.
We saw how happy the Northampton fan was.
No,
about this.
100%. That is a glamour tie if they can get through it.
And of course, Derby County. That's Wayne Rooney going back to Man United.
Yeah, well, them coming to Derby, but yeah.
Or them coming to Derby, they're coming to Pride Park. Southampton or Tottenham against Norwich in an all-Premier League tie. Of all of the ties so far, that's the most boring because it's Premier League.
But then you look at it as a Spurs fan and think we could get through that.
Exactly.
Easily.
I'm excited by that as a Spurs fan. It's potentially easier than playing someone like Cardiff or Reading or Sheffield Wednesday, who might be doing slightly better in the league and have a bit more confidence than Norwich down the bottom of the Premier League. Although Norwich have played very well twice against Tottenham. And then Fratton Park, Portsmouth are hosting the winner of tonight's game, Bournemouth or Arsenal. So that means a trip to Fratton Park.
That's a South Coast derby or Arsenal struggling at Fratton Park. Which one would you rather watch?
I quite like to see Arsenal.
Yeah, so
but at the same time, I don't want Arsenal to go through now. So Bournemouth. I like to see Bournemouth. I like to see the South Coast derby. But these are fixtures that you don't get to see anymore. Like the Bournemouth, Portsmouth are two teams that have both been in the Premier League, but never at the same time.
No.
These are great fixtures that I'm excited to see.
Yeah, it's a better round than the last one, and hopefully it lives up to expectations. And we sit here in a few weeks' time and go, "Great, that was brilliant, wasn't it?" So yeah.
I don't know if it's just that we love football more than most people, because a lot of people don't get excited for international fixtures. A lot of people don't get excited for the cup competitions.
Yeah.
I love it all.
Yeah.
I love everything about football. I love that in the FA Cup, the young players do get a chance, and everyone's saying, Piers Morgan saying that Shrewsbury didn't prove the magic of the cup was alive because they only played the Liverpool reserves. So Liverpool reserves are a very good side. That Liverpool reserves.
They knocked out Everton.
Yeah, they had a Belgium international up front. They had a Brazil international in the midfield, and they had two international
Premier League
centre-halves.
class goalkeeper and goal. He's
Yeah.
been there for years. Still a poor side.
Exactly, that's a very good team still, and this is where we complain young players never get a chance in the Premier League. They never get a chance for the top clubs. This is where they get a chance.
I love it.
That's it.
It's great to see the young kids come through.
I think it's
Give them
brilliant.
a chance.
We love the FA Cup, so
Yeah.
that's our analysis.
You love football, don't you?
I just love football. Well, I do. That's why I do this. That's why I talk about it for a living on the radio. I love the football. I love football. So please get in the comments. What do you think about the FA Cup? Is the magic gone? Would you rather see your team do well in the league or in the FA Cup? And do you think the replay should be scrapped? Get in the comments.
Do you think your team can win it now as well? Look at the draw and go, ooh, do you know what? Half a chance.
Yeah.
Come on, Arsenal.
If they're knocked out already, West Ham fans, sorry about that.
Always next year.
Watford fans, sorry about that. But yeah, leave a comment. Also, what else do you want to see us do a special on? Because we just love talking about football. We love football.
The transfer window's coming around, isn't it?
Yeah, we're thinking. We got an idea for transfer deadline day. We need to figure out the logistics, but watch this space. that would actually be our next show if we do it. If not, we'll be doing a preview of all the games this weekend. So keep an eye out for Thursday, Friday night for when we will be posting some more content.
I'm pretty confident there aren't any games this coming week because it's the winter break.
Are there not a couple?
I'm not sure, but we might have to look into that.
Well done. Thanks for derailing that. Anyway, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think about the FA Cup. We'll be back on Friday. Either way, we'll be back on Friday. One thing left to say, cheers.
Cheers.